Hello and welcome to Europa Universalis IV, the Great Khan, attempt number 2. Now I'm not going to go over what went wrong in attempt number 1 because I did a separate video on that should have gone up at the same time as this video. But what I am going to do is talk about what some of the goals of this campaign are. Well, obviously the first goal is to get the Great Khan achievement, which is to take, I think we can see all the bits of land already, take the Russian region, the bit in pink, the Persian region, this bit here, and it says the Chinese region, which I would have to assume means all of this, as in all these different little regions here, like China proper. You see it's a sub-region on all of these, China proper. I assume that would be what we would have to take. Maybe you have to take anything that says Chinese, like the Chinese coast region as well. I'm not sure, but I would assume. Like, it's not going to matter. If we get to the point where we're having to worry about what Chinese region bits to take, the campaign has already, like, it's probably already won. What other things do we need to do? Well, to achieve these goals, we need to be able to stop Muscovy from, like, going out of control. Because really, they're trying to get very similar things to us. They want the Russian region. Well, they start with most of it. They would also very much like to colonize over here and then get the Chinese region. Because, I mean, it kind of makes sense. They would, like, it's just where they're going. They'd get pushed in along here and then they'd be able to take that. So what I decided to do was I looked at the previous campaign. What we did was every time we tried to stop Muscovy in that one, we'd attack them head on. Like, there was no subtlety. It was like, attack Muscovy and then hope that Muscovy would fall apart somehow from being attacked. Like, I think at one point we attacked them and released Novgorod. And what did that do for us? Well, Muscovy waited the truce timer for Novgorod, then they full annexed them. It didn't actually slow them down at all, really. So what I did in this one is I strategically, like, vassalized a few people along here and created almost like a province wall. I got a really strong alliance with the Ottomans and made sure that the Ottomans, like in the previous campaign, the Ottomans kind of got a bit weak. I've tried to make it in this one so the Ottomans are really strong. Like, they're a strong ally, but I've also blocked off some of their expansion in areas. Like, I've taken the Georgia as a vassal over here to try and make it so the Ottomans have to attack down into the Mamluks and into Hejaz and up into Europe. Which basically means that the Ottomans are going to be strong, but they're not going to hold any of the land that we want. Like, as I said, all we want is we want the Persian region from over here, which they don't have any of. We want the Russian region, which they're nowhere close to getting any of. We want the Chinese region, which they're not even thinking about. So, what I've done is we have weakened Lithuania in this campaign. And, yeah. Let's have a look at some of the other stuff that we've done. We have idea groups, which here taken administrative ideas. In the previous campaign took economic, which was fine, and gave us a lot of what administrative does. Basically, it took economic as a way of dealing with our money problems, and this kind of does it in a different way. This deals with our money problems by making it so that when we use mercenaries, the mercenaries are cheaper. Which then will obviously lead to us having more money because we won't be spending any money on mercenaries. And we won't have to worry about us running out of manpower because we'll be using a lot of mercenaries. It also lowers core creation cost and lowers administrative tech cost. Which is really good because one of the ideas here, reforming the government, actually costs a lot of administrative points. It costs 200 to start. It costs 3 stability, which is actually about 600 admin points. And then it lowers you by 5 stability here. Which costs another 300 or so admin points if you have no negative bonuses like overextension, anything like that. So it's quite a lot of admin points. But if we take the administrative idea group, that kind of evens it out a little bit. Because we're saving a lot of admin points along the way. Like, core creation cost is lowered by a quarter. So think of all the times you would core over a campaign. This really, really adds up. I think this is going to be a huge changing factor. Another thing that we did in the previous campaign is we took trade after that. And I think if we were to take something like influence ideas and really push the vassal idea, like push having really strong vassals, this would work much better, because having strong vassals would then mean that you're able to kind of save more admin points, because you're using the vassals and then you're annexing them. It's only costing diplo points, and as a horde you really don't need diplo points. I mean, your diplo points are being used on what? Naval morale? Like, trade efficiency? Like, you're not getting that much trade. Colonial range is useless, trade range is pretty useless, global settler increase, different boat types. I mean, this is really pretty bad. Apart from the advanced casus belli, which is quite good later on. But, like, you're not going to get later on, because you're not going to have the tech for it. Anyway. Let's get started with actually working out what we're going to do in, like, moving forward in this campaign. So, we've got a couple of armies, we've got a lot of manpower, and we've just, what's happened is we've just finished a war with Lithuania, where we fed Moldavia a couple of these provinces here. Now, this was aimed to kind of weaken Lithuania a lot, so that we can then, like, feed more to Moldavia later on. Also annexing Georgia right now, and that should allow us, it does say more of your subjects have higher liberty desires. It's going to keep saying that, because Kazan have this negative, like, plus 50 historic rivals with Golden Horde rubbish, which is going to cause us a little bit of trouble. But once we eat Georgia and Moldavia, that will go away, because Kazan will love us again, because they'll be below 50%. Yes. And yeah, we're going to eat Georgia, which will then mean that Moldavia will have pretty much no liberty desire. And we can keep feeding them all these Lithuanian provinces and get them all for free. And this will allow us to then attack into Poland, who I believe are weak. It's difficult to tell, because this fog of war has been up, but I keep seeing them losing wars. They've lost a war to Livonian Order, they lost a war to the Teutonic Order, they've been going to war with Muscovy, who I believe have them as a rival, or had them as a rival. Yeah, I think they had them as a rival, but they became too weak. They also don't have an alliance with Lithuania. The personal union broke very early. So my current plan is that what we're going to do is we're going to slowly and, like, very carefully eat Lithuania on the truce timer. What is the truce with them? That's going to be like 14 years, so a little bit to wait. We've got some other people we need to eat. We need to eat Kara down here. My plan with Kara is we're going to, once we finished annexing Georgia, I'm going to go to war for Iraq, because Iraq is a Sunni nation down here. And that means if we feed them a lot of these provinces, Iraq is going to be very strong. Like, they're going to be strong, and then we can eat them, and everything's going to be the right group. It's all going to be Sunni. It's probably not, the culture's going to be wrong, but it's all going to be Sunni. Like, we don't have to convert any of it. And it's all going to be core, it's all going to be nice. And then I've also got a plan to attack into Nogai here, and kind of get a line down into Khiva, into Persia, a lot of those things. So, is there anyone we can attack this very second? Shirvan, they are allied with Iraq and Persia. That could give us a way to vassalize Iraq if we wanted to do that before Georgia's around. How strong are Persia? Persia have 10,000 troops. We could probably go to war with that. We have, what, 18,000 troops? 28,000 troops. And they have military tech level 9. We also have, oh, we actually have military tech level 10, which doesn't give any tactics advantage, but does mean we're at least, if not even, we're a little bit ahead of them. So how many do Shirvan have? It doesn't look like they should have a lot of troops, because they're currently being occupied by Tabaristan. Are they at war with Persia as well? Oh, they're just at war with Shirvan and Iraq. Okay. How many does Shirvan have? Shirvan has 9,000 troops somewhere. We should probably send one of these guys over to investigate. And lower our army maintenance while we're not using them. Right, let's send them over, like, just down to investigate what's going on. Lithuania is no longer a valid rival? Oh, we took enough land from them. That's eclipsed Lithuania there as well, so that would be +4. We need to stop embargoing them though. Is there a way to stop embargoing, or did we peace out too soon? Like another 6 days. Okay. We could start converting some provinces. It's a little bit of a waste of money to do it this early because you're going to be spending all your money on converting. And I have a few loans out here. 6 loans currently. It's about, I don't know, maybe 18,000, no, 1,800 gold. 18,000 would definitely be a much larger problem. We'd still have 20 bank loans right now, so it's not that bad. Our inflation is a little bit worrying. It's over 10 right now, and I'm thinking I'm just going to lower it here. Because I believe at over 10 there is a mean chance to happen that it will just give you a, it'll just give you bankruptcy. Like at some point above that. So, right, let's wait these 6 days and get rid of the embargo. Perfect. Who are we going to rival now? Cannot rival while at war. Yes, we're currently in Uzbek's war. For Tibet have decided to attack them, which is a bit silly. The Uzbeks actually were much stronger than this at one point. They had a lot of Khiva as well, because the Timurids fell apart. Like we went to war with Timurids quite early on, and that weakened them a lot because the Timurids were allied to Nogai. So we were able to bring the Ottomans in on one of those wars before we actually got into attacking Lithuania and weakening them. So yeah, basically just waiting for Tibet to peace out, because I don't think there's any way for the Uzbeks to get across there. Check. They could maybe get across Koch if they move their troops in and round. Are they a vassal of the Uzbeks? I didn't notice the Uzbeks had any vassals. That's interesting. Maybe they'll feed them. But yeah. Can we see any of Shivrin's troops down here? Don't appear to be able to see any. We could use the other army to just check down in Iraq. I think we'll do that. There's no reason to go to war straight away, but it is nice to have a look around. What are these kind of decisions in taking? Nothing important. Muscovy is still a rival of Lithuania, which I guess means that Muscovy is, like, Lithuania is still a valid rival of Muscovy, or is Lithuania still... Alright, they're still rivaling Muscovy. So that's I guess the rivalry would break whenever Lithuania wants it to break. Kind of surprised they haven't done it already, although I suppose they're not a player, so they don't have the reason of, if they break the rivalry, then Muscovy will no longer be as inclined to attack them. So, still waiting for this army to come down here. We have a couple of free advisors slots, but again, paying off loans, have to wait for that. Anything else that we need to look at right now? Of course, we do have too many diplomatic things here, because a lot of this stuff is, like, we've got 3 vassals and 2 alliances. But I think that we need both the alliances we have. The Uzbeks are a really good alliance because they tend to have a lot of troops, which I think is the main, like... I don't know if tech is taken into account so much as troop numbers in terms of whether an AI is going to attack you. And I really don't want Muscovy to attack us, although they do seem to have a lot of troops on our border, which is worrying. Although that is also their capital, so I mean, I can forgive them for having troops in their capital. Probably don't need to have that fort fortified right now. That's a bit of a waste of money. I mean, it's not like they're going to move their troops in next month. If they declare war on us within a month, I'm going to be pretty annoyed. Yeah, and the alliance of the Ottomans is just needed. You can't do this without being allied to the Ottomans. They are such a force. I believe they were actually at war with France and England and winning very recently. So, like, they're much stronger than they usually are. Like, the Mamluks don't exist right now. Ethiopia ate the bottom half, the Ottomans ate the top half. So there might be a small bit of Mamluks right there, maybe. I'm not sure. But yes, let's see if there are any troops in Iraq here. Just want to be sure. Just want to be sure where Shivrin's troops are. It says they have 10,000 troops, but I don't believe it. It says 10,000. They must be in Kurvan right now. Or are they on Tabaristan? Oh, they're on Tabaristan. Well, that was easy enough. They actually have 17,000 troops. What am I talking about? Because they have... No, they have 10,000. There must be some from Iraq. How many does Iraq have? I didn't check. They might have a reasonable sized army. They have 8,000. So they have about 28,000 altogether, because Persia had 10,000, didn't they? See, this is why we didn't go to war straight away. Yeah, 28,000. Iraq's military tech same level as ours, and Chivron's military tech is the same level as ours. What we could potentially do is we could try and just go straight down into Iraq and take as much of their, take their land very quickly. Is this a fort? I can't really, looks like there's a fort. Yeah, there's a fort there. So we could potentially take that fort and then go all the way around and get that, and get their capital fort. And then piece them out separately and move on from there. Is there a way of getting someone else into this war? Does someone else want to join it? The Uzbeks would join this war, so this could be good. If they peace out of Tibet, we could then declare the war. Yeah, some things to think about. Anyway, I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you for watching. Tell me what you think, and I will see you next time.